What's good, Trucking Empire? I know it's been a long time. I know I've sold you guys short. Reason for my break, I just wanted to kind of ground myself. I wanted to kind of distance myself from some of the things going on in YouTube. But today, we got a very good video for you guys. Super informational, and it's going to make sure some of you guys stay in business. It's going to keep you from losing money in certain instances. These tips are going to really help you guys thrive. Right below, I'm going to drop a timestamp for when this video starts for the tips. Right now, I'm going to get into some things that I wanted to kind of address and let you guys know and kind of talk about first. So, firstly, I know everyone is probably struggling in trucking right now. It's not a great time for trucking. Trucking is in a really weird place, especially for box truckers. Semis are still in a weird place too. It's hard to get certain rates. So, for you guys out there that are struggling, thinking it's only you, it is not only you. I have had so many consultations and so many people that have needed help and that I've had to try to guide in the right direction to try to save their companies. There's a lot of people going out of business. And what this channel is for is to keep you guys from going out of business, to keep you guys in the loop, keep you guys, striving, keep you guys, motivated and not make you guys feel like, you're not going to get anywhere. I try to give you tips that's going to keep you in business and keep your company going in the long run so that when the market does fix itself and trucking gets back to normal, we can all thrive and make a lot of money. So, don't feel alone. There's a lot of people going through the same thing you're going through. This video today, the reason for it is so that some of you guys don't go through some of these things that everyone else goes through. I've got 6 or so tips today that I'm going to try to dive into and let you guys know the reason for them and what can happen if you don't follow them to save your company and save you some money in the long run. So let's get right into it. Number 1 is I want you guys to always keep in mind, if you book a load, you do not want to move your truck until you get the rate con. So, I've had a lot of people, I have a dispatching company, which is doing amazing. We've grown it to a really big foundation, and we've just grown from there. We've created our own program for the truckers to keep track of everything. But, aside from that, I have a lot of experiences with people who we book a load for them and tell them the details of the load and the city, and, we let them know to hang on or whatever the case may be, and we're going to go ahead and send them the rate con. And they just immediately go to where that city is and the load falls through, which wastes your time, it wastes money, and we all know that time is money in trucking. Your hours, you don't want to start your clock if you don't have to, you don't want to, waste gas, you don't want to waste time, especially moving towards a city, that's worse than where you're at to pick up a load that falls through or whatever the case may be. It's going to cost you money. Sometimes it can cost you your entire day. When you lose out on, we average like $1,400 a day per truck. So you can lose out on $1,000 to $1,400 by, getting a broker telling you, hey, there's a load here. You guys can go ahead and grab it. I'll get the rate con sent over shortly. You go ahead and drive an hour and a half out of your way, 2 hours, whatever the case may be. You get there to pick the load up. You call the broker and he says, hey, the load fell through. I forgot to let you know. I'm really busy. I'm sorry. Then you're screwed. You've lost some money. You've lost time. And it's just not a good deal. So make sure you never, ever, ever move your truck to a location without having rate con in hand. That way you can at least get a tone you if it falls through or whatever the case may be for your time. Number 2 is don't ever unload your truck unless you are paid for it, which means if you get a rate con and when you talk to the broker initially, if he says, no driver assist on the load and no driver assist on the unload, and you get to where you're going to load your truck and they say that you have to load it yourself or you have to give them a driver assist, stop right there. Tell everyone in the warehouse or whoever's loading your truck to hang on and let you contact the broker or have your dispatcher contact the broker. Go ahead and contact the broker. Let them know that this was not discussed prior and you need an additional amount of money for driver assist. Wait till you get the rate con for the driver assist so that you can go ahead and help. Because what happens a lot is brokers have too much power in this industry, which I'm sure if you're a carrier or a dispatcher you've seen. So when someone goes and I've had a lot of people do this too. They get there to pick the load up. They're not supposed to be a driver assist, or they get there to drop the load, not supposed to be a driver assist. And the warehouse tells them, hey, we need your help. You got to help us on this, or you got to load it yourself. And they just go ahead and do it and expect to call the broker afterwards and say, hey, I want to get paid for my driver assist. Well, you have no negotiating power right there, right? So what the reason being that you don't want to do that is you want to go ahead and call and say, hey, I'm not unloading this truck. Your freight is not coming off of the truck until I get paid for my towing you. Because if you don't do that and you tell them, hey, afterwards, hey, I just dropped the load, I need to be paid for this driver assist, they can say, okay, I'll send it to you, and they never do. And the reason being is because brokers have too much power, and there's never any repercussions normally. Most people don't, contact FMCSA and charge it to the broker's bond, or they don't, write a report on them. They don't do anything like that. So brokers just get away with it, and they tell you, hey, I'm not going to send that, or you never hear from them again. And obviously it's bad business practices, but in this industry, it's a really dog-eat-dog industry. So you want to make sure that all your I's are dotted and your T's are crossed. That way you can make sure you get paid for situations like that, because nobody wants to work for free. We're not out here driving, away from our families for free. It's just not what we're doing. We're here to make money, and that just is what it is. We want to deliver freight safely, but we're not going to deliver it for free, and we're not going to move it for free. So always keep that in mind. Never, ever unload the truck until you have a rate con, adjusted for your payment for unloading, offloading, whatever the case may be. Definitely remember that one. Number 3, I'm going to probably drop a link in the description for this one, but it's know your CPM, which is your cost per mile. You definitely want to know your cost per mile. If you don't know your cost per mile, like I said, the link is in the description. I have a video to show you how to calculate your CPM, because honestly, I have a lot of people that do this as well. They book loads under their cost per mile, and they wonder why they're losing money. It's just not a good situation. You have to know your cost per mile. If you don't know your cost per mile, you can book a load for $1.50 and think that you're gonna, at least break even or make a little bit of money in your pocket. Well, your cost per mile is $1.75, and you just lost 25 cents a mile, and you wonder where your money went. It's not good to not know your CPM. You have to know your numbers in this industry, or at least hire someone who does and can figure them out for you. I calculate CPMs for people for a low price, but obviously it's better if you do it yourself and know what's going on with your company yourself. Number 4, watch what you say to brokers. A lot of you don't know this, but there's a thing called Carrier 411. There's brokers unions. There's a lot of things that brokers have that we don't have access to and that we have no idea about. A lot of times I'll call, I'll take on a new carrier to dispatch, and I'll go ahead and call to book them a load, and the broker says, hey, we can't work with you. There's a Carrier 411 that says you talk to this broker a certain type of way, or your actions were this way, on 6/22, 2022, or whatever the case may be, and it can prevent you from getting loads from all kinds of brokers if they look into Carrier 411. You can be blacklisted. I know that brokers say a lot of things that are really frustrating. They do a lot of things that are unethical and are bad business practices, but we can't let ourselves get to the point where we, talk insane to these brokers if they have our information, because they can really mess up your future loads and mess up your company in the future. And obviously we all have a lot of money into our companies, FMCSA wise, insurance wise, to aid these authorities. We don't want to run the authority that we've built, worked so hard to build. So that's number 4. Number 5, this is a tricky one because I know some of you are newer, but some of you guys that have been in the industry for a while are going to understand this very well. But this is one that I see a lot that I struggle with, because people change their mind on loads or whatever the case may be. Never, ever, ever sign a rate con unless you are guaranteed to pick that load up, or that load is the one you want. Most brokers, they don't ask you to sign a rate con and send it back. A lot of the times you may book a load, you get the rate con, the broker doesn't say sign and send back. They just say send me the ETA, whatever. As long as you don't sign that rate con, if you cancel that load, you can't have anything put on your Carrier 411 or on the FMCSA for your MC or anything like that, because you never legally obligated yourself to pick this load up. It just is what it is. It's something that we can use to our advantage. Brokers screw us over all the time. So sometimes, this may not be the most ethical thing, but we have to do what we have to do as carriers to protect ourselves and try to make as much money as possible, especially with brokers making more money than we make, and we're the ones delivering the product. So what you can do is you can book a load, you can get the rate con. If it's not the greatest load or whatever the case may be, you can keep that in your email, and you don't have to sign it unless the broker asks you to sign it. You don't have to sign this rate con and return it. You're not legally obligated to pick this up. Just don't say anything sometimes, If it's, $2 a mile and you think you can get 250, keep that on the back burner. You at least have this $2 a mile load, and continue looking for other loads. Once you get one that's better, you can go ahead and sign that rate con and then go pick up. If it falls through, you still have this other one on the back burner unless the broker has gotten antsy and moved it to someone else. That's a very big tip, and a lot of people don't know that. It's information that at this point I'm just sharing everything I know, and there's no reason not to. Everybody on this YouTube platform has been putting things behind paywalls, and it's to the point that it's almost like you guys are used for money. So these tips are some things that a lot of other YouTubers wouldn't tell you, and I'm going ahead and giving you guys for free. So go ahead and drop a like for sure. Share the video to people that you know are in the industry, because these are some tips that could really save some companies in the long run. Number 6 is a very, very big one. This is the final tip, but it is huge. It is a major tip for you guys. I want you guys to understand that this one here, it's something that I run into issues with a lot with people that just start coming over for me to dispatch, or people who have consultations that mess their clocks up and they're only doing a certain amount of money per week because of this. As stated earlier, everyone that's in this industry knows time is money. Number 6 is clock management. And I may do a separate video to break down how to manage your clock, but let me give you a for instance. If you pick a load up on a Monday and you pick it up at 12 p.m. and it has to be delivered next day by 4 p.m., don't get there at 4 p.m. If you can get there at 8 a.m., if you can get there earlier and you can burn a lot of your clock and use most of your clock while driving, get there as early as possible. The earlier you get there, the more chance you have to get a load the next day, the less time you've wasted. It's just better for you. The more you get paid per hour, or per mile, whatever the case may be. You don't want to book this load at 12, go pick it up, go eat, and spend another hour on the phone, or whatever the case may be, and already have your clock started, because as soon as you start your clock, you're burning time. And a lot of people don't understand this, but you have a 15-hour per day clock, or whatever the case may be. You start your clock, you just go pick the load up and start your clock to go get it. Your clock is ticking. If you spend an hour doing something else, you've lost an hour of clock. And once that overlaps your drive time, you're losing drive time that entire time. So you don't want to drive from 12 till 6 and then say, I'm going to shut it down. I'll be able to get there by 4 tomorrow. You can do that, but you're going to lose money. You're going to lose time. You're probably not going to get a load the next day, because 4 p.m. is almost the end of the business day. It's very detrimental that you guys use your clock wisely and always drive while your clock has drive time, if you can. Obviously, bathroom breaks, whatever the case may be, every human has to do it. So, do it. Use your breaks, use your hour break. You have an hour break. It's your company at the end of the day. I'm just trying to give you tips to make you succeed. Clock management is a big one. If you guys want me to go ahead and drop a video on clock management alone and show you guys, step by step how the ELD works and how to manage it properly with load examples, go ahead and drop that in the comments. Again, thank you guys for all your support. You guys have still been supporting me. I've still been teaching people this entire time that I haven't dropped videos. It's been a long journey for me. As said before, I'm not big on videos. I'm not big on getting on the internet and doing this, but I know that you guys, some of you need this. Some of you guys need tips like this. It's helping you guys get along, so I'm going to force myself to do it. That's not the only reason I took a break. Like I said in the beginning of the video, I took a break also to kind of distance myself from other YouTubers and their bad business practices, because at the end of the day, it was affecting my conscience, and I felt bad for some of you guys. Some YouTubers out there, I'm not going to say any names. I don't want this channel to become that. I don't want it to become something where, I'm downing other people for views or whatever the case may be. It's why I haven't dropped a video on that. But I want you guys to understand that people on YouTube are finessing you, and be very aware of what's going on, who you're watching, what kind of numbers they're charging you for certain information. Ask people that that have bought their course or bought their mentorship or whatever the case may be. Make sure that you're making the right decision for you and yourself, financially, emotionally. Just take care of yourselves, guys. I appreciate you being along with me, being beside me. Being beside me for this journey. It's been a crazy journey that I've been on, but I'm going to continue dropping videos. I'm back, dropping videos weekly for you guys. So thank you so much. Chuck and Empire out, y'all.